Okay. Okay. You get it? Did you get it? Okay. Okay, we're done with that bit now. We're done with it. Hello everyone, welcome to The Worst Album Ever Made, a show where I'm on the hunt to try to find out what is the worst album ever made. Ooh. And I am here today to answer one question. Just because an album is long, does that make it bad? And to drive this conversation, we're going to take a look at an album that was suggested to me by my Patreon supporter Nathan, who says I should take another crack at the whole Jandek fella with his 6-hour-long album called Ghost Passing. The interesting thing about Nathan, the reason why he suggested to me, it's not because he doesn't like Jandek. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Nathan is a credible Jandek tribute artist, and he can't stand this album. In fact, he thinks out of anything you see right over there on the board of shame, this is going to rank well above all of them. So that's why I'm here, everybody. I'm going to endure so many hours of Jandek to see if this truly is the worst album ever made. So Ghost Passing, what is it? Well, let me tell you. Ghost Passing is a 6-hour-long free improvisation album that features only 2 instruments in the entire runtime, and that is piano and theremin, the ghost instrument. And of course, it was created by the wondrous, mysterious outsider known as Jandek. You might remember Jandek from a previous video I've done where I've covered his very first album called Ready for the House. If you are unfamiliar with Jandek, you can click the button right here and you can watch that. Compared to most albums released, 6 hours does feel like a gargantuan amount of time to spend listening to an album. But when you take a step back and you look at the grander scheme of all albums ever released, it's actually pretty conservative. I mean, there's lots of albums longer than that. In fact, there's been a time where I've listened to an album that's longer than that. The Caretakers Everywhere at the End of Time is a 6.5-hour album that showcases exactly what dementia does and how it affects the brain. It is a beautiful album that's filled with heart, horror, and sadness. And not a second of that experience can be lost, because every single tiny piece is needed to tell its terrifying story. And it did phenomenally well. Currently, the entire album sits at 28 million views on YouTube, with positive scores going all throughout the internet. And clearly, its length was not a detriment to its success. But even the Caretaker's 6.5-hour-long record is minuscule compared to the Flaming Lips. The Flaming Lips, for some reason, just decided to make a 24-hour-long record. From sunup to sundown, you can listen to one album and nothing else by the Flaming Lips. The album is called 24-Hour Song Skull. It looks like this, and it's insane. But it's nothing. It's nothing. It's just a drop in the ocean compared to what I'm about to talk about. And that is Bull of Heaven. Bull of Heaven not only made a 24-hour album, but they've made several albums that are longer than 2 days. 3 albums longer than 3 days. 2 albums over 4. 1 over 5. 1 album that's a full week long. 1 that is 2 weeks long. They've made 1 that's over a month. 1 that's over 2 months. 1 that is 6 months and 14 days long, and 1 over 5 years. And finally, a record that is so long, you would die before you finished it. And let me tell you something, people in the comments, okay? One of y'all suggested that I review the over quintillion long album, and that's sick. That's sick. I'm not going to review a 5-year-long record, but I will tell you what, commenters. I will listen to a 24-hour-long Bull of Heaven if we reach 20,000. okay? And I'll listen to their 6-month one if I get to 1 million. It's not gonna happen, so balls in your court if you want to torture me so bad, okay? Now let's move on to the rest of the freaking video. Okay, so compared to Bull of Heaven, 6 hours doesn't seem so bad now, does it? It's kind of a cakewalk compared to a 5-year-long album. But to most people, that's still too long. Not a lot of people have the time or patience to be able to sit down and listen to something that sounds like this all day. Except for these 4 people. To see if ghost passing is as bad as Nathan says it is, I have devised a little test. I have asked 4 of my friends to come in to my humble abode to do one thing: to listen until they can't listen no more. No distractions, nothing at all. Their whole job is to sit and listen. And we're going to see if they all stay till the end. And for that incentive, I have given them a cash prize of 50 whole US dollars. And who's ever at the end gets to split the prize money. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Let us introduce our contestants for this evening.
My name's Trenton. Make no mistake, I'm not here for music. I'm not here for money. I'm here for tea. He promised me 6 hours of tea, and I gave him a simple 10-step process for steeping the perfect cup of tea. If I don't get my perfect brew, I'm gone. Leave me.
My name's Trent. I'm ready to be the winner of this contest. I have prepared myself. I have no idea what's going on, but I'm pumped and let's do this.
Hi, I'm Christina. Call me Chris, whatever. I just came here because I'm bored. And I was like, hey, competition, I'm gonna go do it. I'll probably last the whole time. I'm not saying I'm gonna be awake the whole time, though. Great.
If you sleep, you're out.
Oh, never mind. I'll try not to fall asleep.
I'm Holden. I'm not even here. I heard there was money involved. I'm not even here for that. Little do they know that I do this pretty much on a daily basis, but I'm usually driving, so this is a lot safer. I already have my shoes off and everything. I'm relaxed.
Welcome, my 4 contestants, to the Ghost Passing Challenge. I'm not forcing you to be here. You can leave at any time, but when you do, you'll hit this button and you'll leave. If you would like to use the restroom, you can, but there's no escape. The album's playing in the bathroom as well. Now, with that being said, I'm just going to set up the camera and we're going to get this thing started. After listening to this album 5 times to prepare for this review, I have noticed some things. And the number one thing I've noticed is you should never listen to this album all the way through. This album is best enjoyed in short bursts. In the track listing, you have 6 tracks. Each one is called Fantasy 1 through 6. Each one of those is an hour long, and that is a perfect length in order to enjoy some piano and theremin free improvisation. It's very nice, actually. I think the album is a good sounding record.
Does he normally have a clock in here? Did he take it away or something?
No. That looks like something used to be hanging up there.
I think there used to be a clock there. I know there's a clock. Must have gotten rid of it on purpose.
But I admit there is something that is kind of cool about listening to the album all the way through, and that is the tension you get from the transitions of the fantasies. The one from fantasy number 1 to fantasy number 2 was such a cool experience for everyone to here live, it is really cool. It's a really cool moment, especially when you're not expecting it.
Oh shit!
What?
It's a guitar solo there.
Okay.
That's what I thought at first when it started. Ooh.
Really though, in short bursts, not only is ghost passing tolerable, but I find it a really relaxing experience. Trenton is going to the restroom. So here's the restroom, Trent. We got the music playing. Actually, that needs to be a little bit louder. That's not as loud as it should be. For instance, like cleaning my room, driving home from work, writing this script, the music has given off like a meditative quality to it, which I actually find really soothing. In all honesty, I can only really recommend ghost passing in this short form. It's like a massage. If I go to a massage parlor and I get a 30-minute massage, I'm going to feel soothed, I'm going to feel relaxed, and it's going to make my day better. If I went in there and got a 6-hour-long massage, it's going to feel like I got assaulted. I hate that idea. But really, yeah, I can only really recommend the album in that form. And if some sick individual transcribed this whole album into Clone Hero or Beat Saber, they are twisted, and playing that would be like a fate worse than death. So for this 30 minutes, we're separating them out. So right now you have about 3 hours and 30 minutes left. How are y'all feeling? You know, how good do you think that is?
Right. I wouldn't put it in a list.
Yeah, it's so...
It's not like bottom, but it's also not the top anything.
It's like mediocre.
Yeah. I think it's like
It's good. It's good. It's not like
I
excellent.
think it's a touch below mediocre, which makes it a little bit extra.
And you know, I wouldn't go out of my way to listen to this, but occasionally,
If it was
like
Halloween-
what Trenton was saying earlier, you know, I'll just put random music on while I'm cleaning or something, just so there's something on. I might do that.
For individuals listening to the Jandek experiment, I mean, they absolutely shattered my expectations. They endured hours of Jandek entertainment. But it was only a matter of time before someone had enough. Alright, I actually tasted this one. It was pretty dang good. It tastes like a caramel.
Caramel.
It should be chocolate.
Hold up, it might be poison. It tastes like caramel.
Okay.
Love to taste this chicory.
Excellent.
Better than all.
He's still in this, boys.
Excellent.
What? He's gone!
I don't need money, I only need tea.
As I said at the start, I came here for tea. The money was unnecessary. The company was ho-hum. The music was, and that's that on that.
So Trenton was gone. And then almost instantly right after that, we got our second elimination.
I honestly thought this would only take 2 hours, because everyone would quit.
I thought so too.
Garrett, time check.
Time check?
Time check.
Okay.
It's like 5.
It is 5:19.
No, it's
It
later.
is currently 4 hours and 36 minutes into the thing. So I actually have your thing. Whoa!
I just hit the button. I felt bad Trenton did it, but I didn't want to be the first one to hit it. And also I wanted to make it to at least 420.
And man, oh man, did Trenton and Chris leave at the worst possible time. Because after hours of listening to stuff that sounds like this, Finally, we got our biggest change. The biggest change of the entire thing, the most exciting part of the album. Jandek starts singing. He started talking!
You left at a bad time.
I was shocked. Holden was shocked. Trent was shocked. No one could believe it. He started singing. He started singing. What was he singing about? Didn't matter. Anything like this blew our expectations, and we were like enthralled that we were able to discover this in this whole album. It was such a delightful discovery. And it was insane. What was Jandek talking about? Didn't matter. Just hearing anyone's voice in this dreary, droning fog was welcome. It was almost like Jandek himself was appearing from the mist with a lantern in tow, with a hand extended, ready to lead us out of this maze to the end of the album. It was legendary. Jandek's poem is very sweet. It's talking about how he wished he had a woman to share his life with, someone who can share in all the wonderful memories they can have together and all the hardships that will also bring, and how he wants to be with this person until the day he dies, which is rather sweet. And after Jandek's kind words, it's now time to kick the whole thing into high gear. We have two people left. We have Holden and we have Trent, and both of them want that precious $50 all to themselves, damn it. But after spending 6 hours together, finally the whole competition was coming to a close. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's done. It is done. That's relaxing video game music in a cozy room. It's so loud.
It started with a jump scare.
It started with Dire Ducks.
And it seemed we have a tie. Holden and Trent both won, and they both became co-owners of the same $50 bill, which proves that Ghost Passing is not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. When I was coming up with this episode, I was dreading listening to Ghost Passing. I thought it was going to be one of the worst experiences I have ever had on the show, which is re-listening to a 6-hour album over and over again, especially when it comes to Jandek. In my last review, I was talking about how confused I was with that album, and I talked about how I was having such a difficult time with it, but that was not the case with this one. Not the case at all. So yeah, that's Jandek's Ghost Passing. Alright, so clearly you can see that there's no way that this can be on the board of shame here. We had two people who were able to sit through all 6 hours of it and barely complain. Holden thoroughly enjoyed the experience, and he said, yeah, I listen to this kind of stuff all the time. There's no way this should be on this list. He was surprised it was even suggested in the first place. And I tend to agree with him. I mean, this is Jandek we're talking about. For those who saw my last review, you can tell exactly how difficult I thought that whole album was from start to end. This was a cakewalk. So, does this belong on the board of shame? Not at all. And in fact, I actually recommend you listen to it, again, in short bursts. I think you'd enjoy that a lot more. So, yeah, this has been Worst Album Ever Made, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you enjoyed it enough, maybe you can consider following me on Patreon. I just started a thing where if you spend $3 a month, not only do you get your name in the credits of every video I do, but you also get a free postcard 2 times a year. You'll get a personalized postcard from me telling you how much I appreciate your subscription and thanking you for helping me run this channel right here. If you need more Garrett in your life for some reason, I'm sorry, but if you need more stuff from me, I do run a podcast with my bud Trent. It's a podcast called I'll Give You an Hour. Link in the description if you want to look at that. And with that, I bid you adieu, everybody. So long, farewell, and goodbye.